Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Shri Shailaabhijanamburashishanam Sri Krishna Tatatmajam Sri Shailanve Devanath Sudhya Praptagaman Tadvayam Padabje Narsimhatate Guroho Nyastatma Raksha Bharam Vidvadvranda Chakora Chandiramaham Ramanujaryam Shraye Sriranga Sudha Madhusama Swadayantam Sriranga Mahishi Padapankajatmajam Sulabhashrayam Sada Moda Siddhamadbhutam Bhajeham Gurum Tam Ranganatha Priyam Sukhasanastham Hridayabjapithe Chinmudraya Alankata Pani Padmam Shubhopavitam Vimalodhvapundram Namami Rangam Gurum Antarange Namami Yoga Samrajni Vijayam Vijayapradam Srirangardha Sanasinam Karunamamataram Guru Rupa Paranjyotihi Jyotirupa Guru Paraha Ajnana Mandiram Hyetate Guru Vijnana Mandiram Mukang Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langhaite Girim Yatkripa Tamaham Vande Paramananda Madhavam Yontah Pravishamama Vachamimam Prasuttam Sanjeevayathyakhila Shaktidhara Swadhamna Anyam Shastacharana Shravanatvagaadine Pranan Namo Bhagavate Purushaya Tubhyam Jayatyashrita Santrasa Dhvanta Vidhvam Sanodayah Prabhavan Sitaya Devya Paramavyoma Bhaskaraha Sakrideva Prapannaya Tavasmiti Chayachate Abhayam Sarvabhutebhyaha Dadamyetadvratam Mama Manojavam Martatulya Vegam Jitendriyam Buddhimatam Varishtam Vatatmajam Vanarayutha Mukyam Sri Ramadutam Shirasa Namami Vedavedye Pare Pumsi Jate Dasharathatmaje Vedah Prachetasa Dasite Sakshad Ramayanaatmana Sri Shailam Shanidatatin Simhasurehe Padambuja Pranenam Pradavaptamantam Sriman Risamma Guruvarya Kripatabodham Sri Devanatha Gurumatma Gunadhyamide Sri Shailam Shakalasodhi Sita Bhanu Sri Tatadesha Nisamma Guru Tamabhyam Sampraptamantavara Bodhamaham Varenyam Sri Krishna Tate Gurum Sharanam Prapadye. With salutations to our Guru and the Guru of all Gurus. I will commence our session today. So in the previous session, we were in the Navama Sargaha, a description of the harem of Ravana. We have seen how Hanuman gets closer to the Pushpaka Vimanam, and it is so very enchanting to look at. There are really beautiful gems, jewelry, pillars, palaces, and within the Pushpaka Vimanam, we looked at how the seating arrangement was really well thought out, the various shapes that were carved of animals, birds, and so on. And added to that is the fact that it's not only murals that you could see all around. There's a mention of the fact that even the carpets were woven with something which is really pleasing to look at, very earthly. All the things that you could see on earth was pictured in the carpets. And Hanuman himself was quite attracted, right? So I think we were in shloka number 27, isn't it? 28. Dhumram Agarudhupena Vimalam Hamsa Panduram. That is the shloka we perhaps stopped in the last class. Chitram Pushpo Harena Kalmashamyo Suprabham Manas Samhrada Jananim Varnasyapi Prasadinim. Did we complete that shloka? Shloka 28.
I have marking until 23.
23, is it? Okay.
No, I think we completed it.
Until 26. Okay.
Yeah, yes. Prithvi Iva Vistirnam Sarashtra Grihamalini Naditam Matta Vihagaihi, Divya Gandhadivasitam. I think that we completed. Parardhyas Taranopetam, Rakshodhipaniveshitam, Dhumra, Agaru Dhupene Vimalam, Hamsa Pandaram. I think that's where we stopped. Correct? Okay. So there was some really pleasing fragrance coming from the dhumram. That is the smoke, which was full of agaru and chandanam and all that. Chitram pushpoharene kalmashi miva suprabham manas samhlada jananim varnasyapi prasadinim. So the decorations there were so resplendent to look at that it actually resembled that of Kamadhenu, it seems. In other words, the wish-fulfilling cow, because it was very, very fragrant and everything was decorated with flowers and other things there. And it captivated the mind of everybody. Manas samhlada jananim, it causes pleasure to the mind. And varnasyapi prasadinim, so with the color and the complexion that Hanuman was seeing there, it was really pleasing to not only the indriyas, but also to the mind. That's what it means. Tam shokanashinim divyam shriyas samjananim iva indriyani indriyarthaischa pancha pancha bhiruttamaihi. So the mention is again, I think, to that of the Pushpaka Vimanam. It is shokanashinim. The moment you look at it, all your sorrows will disappear. What is the other attribute? It is divyam. It is very divine. Shriyas sanjananim iva. So it is something like, it is not only richness personified, but it is a generator of richness itself. Sanjananim iva. Meaning, Mahalakshmiye Janika Kudiya or that is the meaning of Shriyas Sanjananim iva. That is how wealthy the Pushpaka Vimanam was. Given all this, what did it cost to our Hanuman? Indriyani, Indriyarthaischa, Pancha Panchabhiruttamaihi. So we all know there are 5 senses, isn't it? Pancha Karmendriyaha, Pancha Jnanendriyaha. And each of these indriyas, like our eyes, nose, ears, etc., skin, they all have their own objects. So there is indriya and there is indriyartha. What is meant to satisfy each of these indriyas? So our eyes are satisfied with something which is pleasing to look at. Likewise, our ears are satisfied with something pleasing to hear. So each indriya is matched with its indriyartha. And not only that, they are matched with the best, panchabhir uttamaihi, the best thing that you could give to each of the indriyas. So in other words, such was the nature of the Vimanam there, that it was completely captivating even to Hanuman. Tarpayama samateva tada ravana palita swargoyam devalokoyam indriyasyayam puri bhavete. It's a very interesting depiction here. Ravana Palita is the palace and the entire Pushpaka Vimanam. What did she do to Hanuman? So the analogy is to that of a mother who is pleasing her child. Okay. So in other words, Hanuman is treated as the child of the Pushpaka Vimanam there. So it is treating him with all kinds of goodness. That is the meaning here. All of us are children of our mothers, and we know how our mothers take care of us. So there will be a sense of love and affection. So the Pushpaka Vimanam is showing all of that to Hanuman, and it is pleasing all his indriyas and indriyarthas. So that's the description here, and it is resembling that of Swarga itself. Swargoyam, Devalokoyam. This is Devaloka itself, or Indrasya iyam puri bhavet. It is kind of repeating the same concept. Devaloka is not different from Swarga. It is not different from Indrasya puri. Yeah. So that means it is a repetition of the same concept, meaning it is so very pleasing to look at. It provides you pleasures of all kinds. Siddhirveyam parahi syate ityamanyata marutihi pradhyayata iva pashyate pradiptans tatra kanchanan dhurtaniva mahadhurtaihi devanena parajitan deepanancha prakashena tejasa ravanasya cha. Siddhirvayam parahi syat ityamanyata marutihi. Hanuman thought that it is either Devalokam itself. So for a moment, you get so very well enchanted that you will start thinking this is Devaloka itself. Then you realize it cannot be heaven, because I am not seeing any gods here, isn't it? There are no devas there. It resembles Devalokam. Therefore, what else could this be? Parahi siddhihi va yam. This fortress, this palace and this Pushpagyamanam perhaps is something which is conquered by Ravana through his might. Okay. And then what else did he see there? Pradiptane kanchanane apashyate. So Hanuman saw the stambhas there, or the lamps that were lit on various pillar-like structures. They were all again resplendent, glowing, and they resembled as if they were in deep meditation. The lamps that he saw, different types of lamps that were decorated there, were appearing as if they were themselves meditating. That means they are very still. Dhurtaniva mahadhurtaihi devanena parajitan. So it's an interesting upamanam that is given here. It appeared as if each of the lamps was like a gambler. And when a gambler is won over by other gamblers through the game of dice, right? How will they look at? They will look at, they will be in a worn and torn state, isn't it? They will not be really in a mood to talk. So they are gambirama ukandukinartham. Dhurtaniva mahadhurtaihi devanena parajitan deepanancha prakashena tejasa ravanasya cha. And the deepas are all full of light, but there is also the tejas of Ravana that is mentioned here. And perhaps that tejas is fulfilling or fully encircling the place there, which means that it is not only the tejas of the lamps, but Ravana himself had a tejas which Hanuman could see there in the palace. So it will be interesting to understand, Deepam is such a great concept in our lives, isn't it? Deepam Jyotihi. It is supposed to represent happiness, and it is supposed to uplift our mind. An interesting thing is here, it is equated to that of gamblers, which means the Prakasham is supposed to take away all tamas. But perhaps it is present in Tamas of Puri, the capital of all tamas. And that's the reason why Kavi, Adi Kavi is calling it as Mahadhurtaihi Devanena Parajitam. So, inga poi ukandirukame abdinu deepangalam yosikirudhu abdinu solraringa. That's what it perhaps means here. Archirbhir bhushananancha pradipte vabhyamanyata tato pashyat kuthasinam nanavarnambarasrajam. Archirbhihi bhushananam. So there is a spread of the glow there, or the Rashmi, that Hanuman could see there. And it was glowing as if it is fire itself. Archirbhihi bhushananam Pradipta iva abhyamanyata. In other words, the entire place is set afire. It is set ablaze with the glow of the lamps. And the lamps were all glowing. So it is very, very beautiful to look at. But then Hanuman turns his gaze towards the carpets. Right? What does he see there? Tataha apashyate Uthasinam, those who were seated on carpets. Nana Varnambaras Rajam. There were ladies who were sporting or wearing different types of clothes and garments. Who were they? Sahasram Varanarinam Nana Vesha Vibhushitam Parivirter Dharatretu Pananidra Vashangatam. Sahasram Varanarinam. There were different types of damsels and women who were wearing very colorful clothes and ornaments. And they were also good looking, beautiful to look at. Varanarinam. And there are thousands of them. Sahasram apashyate. Parivirtehe ardharatretu pananidra vashangatam. But what is their current state? Adina, they were completely drunk. Okay. That's the meaning here. Pana nidra vasangatam. They were sleeping after having consumed large quantities of alcohol. And when was that? Parivirte ardharate. That is in the dead of the night. Kridotvo paratam ratro prasuptam balavattada tat prasuptam viruruche nishabdantara bhushanam. Kriditva uparatam ratro. They're all very tired, having engaged themselves in different types of sport, which gives them pleasure. And prasuptam balavat prasuptam. They were very deeply in sleep. It is basically either the Friday night or Sunday night. I don't know what to call it, isn't it? So you will have the blues in the next morning, as they say. And tat prasuptam viruruche. Even their sleep was looking very beautiful. Abdin soldar Hanuman. When we try to picturize the wives of Ravana, we should bear in mind that they will not only have, some of his wives will not only be like real Rakshasis that we can think of, but many of them were also good looking and beautiful. Okay. And when they were asleep, Hanuman himself felt that, oh, romba paakathukku nanna irukale appdinu avar manasike thonirukku viruruche. But nishabda antara bhushanam. They were all wearing different types of jewelry, which would normally make some jingling noise. But because it is dead of night and they are all very tired, none of those ornaments are moving and therefore it is silent. That's the meaning here. Nishabdantara bhushanam. The bhushanam is quiet. Nishabdaham sabhramaram yatha padmavanam mahate tasam samvrta dantani militakshani marutihi. Other analogies are mentioned here. Imagine Hanuman is now turning his gaze on the carpet, and this is a huge palace, isn't it? And there are thousands of women, many of them good looking, and they're all happily sleeping there. How does it resemble? Abdinaka Nishabda Hamsa Brahmaram Yatha Padmavanam Mahate. Imagine a forest full of lotus, Padmavanam. Meaning you have a pond and it is completely full of lotuses. And you would expect a lot of honeybees there, isn't it? Brahmaram. And swans. And usually they will make noise. But here they are not making noise. Who is he alluding? Who is this Brahmaram Adinaka? It is nothing but the ornaments. So the ornaments that are owned by the ladies, they were as quiet as bees in a forest full of or a pond full of lotuses. Tasam samvrita dantani militakshini marutihi. See, the women had closed their mouths and therefore none of their teeth was revealed. Adin solar samvrita dantani militakshani, their eyes were all closed. But how did they look at? Apashyat padmagandhini vadanani suyoshitam prabuddhani va padmani tasam bhutva kshapakshaye. So, how did the ladies resemble, or what did they look like? Na padmagandhini vadanani suyoshitam. So, they all looked like lotuses. Their faces resembled that of lotuses. These are all well-bred young ladies, women. They have their eyes closed and they have concealed their teeth so that they can post it on Instagram. And they were fragrant like lotuses. And they resembled the blooming lotuses itself. Padmaniva Padmani Tasam Bhutva Kshapakshaye is during the dead of the night. That is what Hanuman looks at. And Punasamrita Patrani Ratra Viva Babustada Imani Mukha Padmani Niyatam Matta Shatpadaha. So it is, there is also a reference here. Punasamrita Patrani Ratra Viva Babustada. So just like the lotuses bloom during the daybreak and their petals close again during the night, that is the analogy that the Kavi is giving to the faces of the ladies there. So they are now asleep, isn't it? But still they are nothing but lotuses, only that their petals are shrunk because it is night. Abhin Soldar. And Imani Mukhapadmani Niyatam Matta Shatpadaha. Shatpadaha Naka Tamil Ettikal Puchi no. What is Ettikal Puchi? Is spider, isn't it? So here it is Shatpadaha, Arukal Puchi, Yede Adinaka honeybee. So the Matta Shatpadaha, just like the honeybees, which are normally buzzing and busy, but they are now quiet and they are encircling the faces of the ladies. That is the ornaments that they were wearing again. Ambujani va phullani prarthayanti punah punaha iti cha manyata shriman upapatya mahakapihi. Apparently, just like the honeybees want the lotuses to open in the morning so that they can get inside the lotus, the ornaments were also waiting for the ladies to wake up. Why? Only then they'll start making noise. So that's the description that Adi Kavi is giving here. Okay. Iticha amanyata Shriman, that is Hanuman thought in this manner. So in other words, it is an enjoyment of the form of the ladies who were all there, having enjoyed a complete night out. They are all drunk, but they were beautiful and good looking. Menehi gunatastani samani salilod bhavaihi sa tasya sushubhe shala tabhistri stribhir virajita. Menehi gunataha tani. Hanuman thought that these are the ladies who perhaps have real gunam. That is why they are as good looking as salilod bhavaihi. Salilamna water. Waterla undagarது எது அப்படினாக்கா lotus. Lotus is salilodbhavam. The other name for lotus is kamalam. Yeah. You know what is the meaning of kamalam? That which emerges from clay, which is called malam, is kamalam. Okay. It is beautiful to look at, but it either comes out of water or clay. So here it is Salilodhavi, perhaps a different form of lotus which is formed in the lakes. Sa tasya shushubhe shala tabhi stribhi virajita. In such a manner, just like you have a quiet lake full of lotuses, that entire palace was full of these ladies. Stribhi virajita. They were resembling nothing but the lotuses. Then further description of them. Sharadiva prasannadyohu tarabhirabhishobhita sachatabhi parivritaha shushubhe rakshasadhipaha. So brightened by the beauty of the maidens. However, they resemble Sharadiva prasanna, just like the autumnal clouds will look somewhat bright white in color. And the sky is lit up by such clouds. In a similar manner, tabihi parivritaha sushubhe rakshasadhipaha. So the fact that Ravana is encircled parivritaha by the ladies in a similar manner to that of clouds which are making the skies lit up. Yatha Hudupatihi Sriman Tarabhirabhisamvritaha Yaschavante Ambarat Taraha Punyasesha Samavritaha. Tabihi Parivritaha Rakshasadipan Patrikon Tarabhihi Abhisamvrita. He is also encircled by stars. And Udupatihi Abdinaka, moon per. Moon is called as Udupatihi. So in other words, there's a resemblance to that of moon and stars as if they are lighting up the sky. The palace is lit up with all these young ladies who are Ravana's chosen wives. Not only that, Yaha Taraha Punyashesa Samavataha Ambarat Chavante. In other words, Hanuman imagined them as stars which are falling from the sky. So Punyashesha Samavrtaha. So in other words, meteors are nothing but objects which are falling from the sky. Perhaps they are Punyashesha Samavrtaha, stars which have which are at the end of their lives. Their punyam is all ending, therefore they are dying in the form of meteors. So that's why they are. It's like meteors which are showering there, and Hanuman is thinking of the ladies there who are resemble that of the meteoric showers. So there are a lot of analogies given to Udupatihi, moon, stars, meteors, and so on. Imam sta sangata kritsna iti mene haristada taranam iva samyuktam mahatinam shubharchisham tatra yoshitam suvyaktam mahatinam subharchisham. So the ladies there were really glowing, subharchisham, just like that of the stars. Imam sta sangataha kritsnaha iti mene haristada. Hanuman thought that these are also nothing but constellation of stars, many of them happily present in the palace there. Prabhavarna prasadascha virejus tatra yoshitam vyavrittaka pinastra prakirna varabhushanaha. Prabhaha varna prasadascha virejuhu tatra yoshitam. Again, they were all looking really beautiful with different types of garlands and jewels that they were wearing. Vyavrittaka cha pinastra prakirna varabhushanaha. That is, it's a description of jewels which are scattered in the garlands. Okay, so that is what they were all wearing, varabhushanaha. In other words, they were really good looking. But the other thing we are going to see shortly is that they are all in a state of intoxication. Although they were good looking, they were wearing colorful clothes and jewelry. We are now going to get into other descriptions here. Panavyayama kaleshu nidrapahृta chetasaha vyavritta tilakah kaschite kaschituttantanu puraha. So they are all in a state of intoxication. Pana vyayama kaleshu. They were all exercising in a different manner. Having drunk, they are completely in a state of intoxication. And they looked scattered here and there. Nidra apahrita chetasaha. And they were all completely exhausted and in a state of nidra. And then how did some of the ladies, other ladies resemble Vinaka? Kaschit Paramayoshitaha Vyavritta Tilakaha. So our Nittil Kunkumam irukilya, it was all displaced. Whatever they were sporting on their foreheads got smudged, which means basically they were in a state of kamam. And because of that, they had Vyavritta Tilakaha. Kaschite Uddhantanuhu Puraha. In other words, they had their anklets loosened, and a few of them had their necklaces also displaced. So in other words, it's a description of the fact that they were in a different state of mind. Parshve galitaharascha kaschit paramayoshitaha muktahara vrtaschanyaha kaschid vistrastavasasaha. Muktahara avrtaschanyaha. Parshve galitaharascha. Again, their garlands were displaced. And Muktaharam, their pearls and necklaces were also displaced. Some of them were scattered here and there. Kaschidu vistrasta vasasaha. Their dresses, some of them had even their dresses not in the right place. So basically they were undressed. So that's the scene that Hanuman is observing there in that palace. Vyavidha rashanadamaha kishorya iva vahitaha akundala dharaschanya vischinna mriditastrajaha muktaharascha anyaha. So that is something you have seen. Vyavidha shanadamaha. Their waist belts were snapped. Abdinartham. Vyavidha dhara shanadamaha. And some of them looked like young ladies. Kishoryaha iva. And akundala dharaschanyaha. Their kundalam had fallen off. And vichinna mritita srajaha. Their garlands were crushed. Abdinartham. In other words, they had had enough enjoyment, merriment during that night. Gajendra mridita pullaha lata iva mahavane chandramshu kirana bhascha hara kasam chidutkataha. Gajendra mriditaha pullaha iva. In other words, it appeared as if an elephant had crushed all the blooming creepers. So such was the state of the ornaments that the ladies were wearing at that point of time. In other words, it was not really good to look at. Okay. And Muktahara, Chandramshu Kiranabhascha Haraha Kamsa Chidutkataha. So the chains and other things they were wearing were still shining like the rays of moon, although they were out of place. Hamsa iva babhu suptaha sthana madhyeshu yoshitam aparasam cha vaiduryaha Kadambaiva Pakshinaha Hamsaiva Babhuhu Suptaha. So just like the Hamsa Pakshi are sleeping, okay, Sthana Madhyeshu Yoshitam. So in other words, so the ornaments were shining in their chests or in between their breasts. It looked as if it is sweeping swans. So that's the upamanam that is given here. Aparasam cha vaiduryaha kadambaha iva pakshinaha. So the vaidurya that was owned by the ladies on their chests, it looked like kadamba birds, is the other thing that the Kavi says. Hamsa iva babu suptaha sthana madhyeshu yoshitam aparasam cha vaiduryaha kadamba iva pakshinaha hema sutrani chanyasam chakravaka iva bhavan hamsa karanda vakirnaha chakravakopashobhitaha. Description further of the ladies there. Their hips were like river banks crowded with swans. And different types of birds are mentioned here. Karandava, Chakravaka, and so on. So that's the description that is given here. In other words, although they were good looking, but they were in a state of exhaustion due to the sport that they were enjoying during the night. And they were wearing different types of jewelry. So there's a description of different types of birds here. Apagaivatare juhu jaganaihi pulanairiva kinkini jala sankoshaha tahema vipulambujaha. So again, some of them had tiny bells tied around their waist, which was looking like buds. Kinkini jala sankoshaha. Haima vipulambujaha. Some of them were wearing bold gold ornaments, which was looking like ambujaha or lotuses. So in other words, it's a further description of the jewels that were owned by the ladies there. Hamsakaranda, Vakirnaha, Chakravakopashobhitaha, Kinkini Jala Sankoshaha Taha, Hema Vipulambujaha, Bhavagrahye Ashastiraha, Supta Nadyaiva Babhuhu, Mrudushwangeshu Kasam Chite, Kuchagreshu Cha Samsthitaha, Bhavagraha Yashastiraha. So they were displaying some amorous gestures. In other words, a sport of love and enjoyment of pleasures, resembling that of crocodiles. Yashastiraha suptaha nadyaha iva ababuhu. In other words, just like the crocodiles lay along the banks of the rivers, in a similar manner, the ladies were spread on the carpets there. So that is the final description. I think Murduswangeshu kasam sthite kuchagreshu cha samsthitaha. So they had different types of ornaments which are heavy, and these ornaments have made imprints on their chests. So I think we'll conclude our session here today. In other words, this is a kind of combination of description which is about the ladies, how they look at the ornaments they wore. At the same time, their behavior when they are completely exhausted in the night. So this is the scene that Hanuman saw when he entered Ravana's main Antapuram. Later on, we'll see how he gets closer to the important Antapuram of Mandodari also. Okay. So we'll conclude our session here today.
Guru Charanam Nirbhara Bhakta Guru Charanam Puja Nirbhara Bhakta Samsara Chira Bhava Mukta Charanam Puja Krishna Krishna Sendriya Manasa Rakshasi Nija Hridaya Stam Devam Bhaja Govindam Bhaja Govindam Govindam Bhaja Mudhamate
Kayena vacha manasa indriyirva buddhya atmana va prakrite swabhavate karomi yadyat sakalam parasme Shriman Narayana yeti samarpayami sarvam Shri Ramachandra arpanastu. Have a great day and a week ahead. Thank you.
Namaskar.
Namaskar.
Namaskaram.